திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். புழியர்கோன் வெப்பொழித்த புகழியர்கோன் கடல் போற்றி, ஆழிமிசை கல்மிதப்பில் அணைந்த பிரானடி போற்றி, வாழி திருநாவலூர் வன்றொண்டர் பதம் போற்றி, ஊழிமலி திருவாதவூரர் திருத்தாள் போற்றி. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். So we are continuing our discussion of padigam 1.10. This Sambandar Thevaram padigam on Tiruvannamalai. We have seen the first 7 songs in the last session. So now we are going to continue from song number 8. And Pavani, you can repeat with me. oḷiṟū-puli.
Yes. Pardon, sir.
Yeah.
Again, please.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah. oḷiṟū-puli.
oḷiṟūpuli.
adaḻ-āḍaiyan.
adaḻ-āḍaiyan.
umaiyañjudal poruṭṭāl.
umaiyañjudal poruṭṭāl.
piḷiṟūkural.
piḷiṟūkural.
mada-vāraṇa.
madavāraṇa.
vadanampiḍit urittu.
vadanampiḍit urittu.
veḻiṟūpaḍa.
veḻiṟūpaḍa.
விளையாடிய
விளையாடிய
விகிர்தன்
இராவணனை
அலறுபட அடர்த்தான் இடம் உணாமலை அதுவே. So in this 8th song, as you know, in Sambandar's Thevaram padigams, in the 8th song he refers to Ravana getting crushed under Kailasa mountain. So that is his pattern. So similarly in this padigam, Sambandar is referring to Ravana getting crushed under Kailasa. That's mentioned here. So in this song, he has several phrases. One part is that he is wearing a tiger skin. The other part is that he fought with an elephant and peeled its skin. So those are the 3 things that he's mentioning in this. That he wears a tiger skin around his waist. He fought with an elephant and peeled its skin. And he crushed Ravana under Kailasa. So these 3 he mentions, and then says that Shiva is dwelling in Tiruvannamalai. So this song sounds like more of a statement, right? He's giving 3 attributes of Shiva and then says that Shiva is dwelling in Tiruvannamalai. And what he does not say is what we should do. And that he has already said in the first song of this padigam, right? Those who worship him in Tiruvannamalai, their karma will be destroyed. Those who worship his lotus feet, they will be free of karma. Those who worship his lotus feet, they will get fame. So all that is already said in the first 3 songs of this padigam, and we have to associate all those statements with the other songs as we need. So in this 8th song, he is saying Shiva is dwelling in Tiruvannamalai and he is such and such attributes of Shiva, that Shiva is dwelling in Annamalai, and we should worship Tiruvannamalai and we will be free of our karma. That is a message. Now, in this, as you can see in the first phrases of each song, he says, oḷiṟū-puli, piḷiṟūkural, veḻiṟūpaḍa, alarūpaḍa. So, in Tamil, these normal Tamil, the words are oḷiṟū, piḷiṟū, veḻiṟū, alarū. But in this song, because of the poetry meter and for the rhythm that we need to get for this song, is extending that syllable, short syllable, and made it into a long syllable. So in Tamil poetry, such changes are permitted when needed. So a poet can take a word and he can modify the word a little bit to fit the meter of the verse. So they can drop a syllable, they can elongate a syllable, they can change a syllable. So there are some permissible changes that a poet can do occasionally in a song. So Sambandar has taken that approach, and in this oḷiṟūpuli, he has made it oḷiṟūpuli, so that we can have that tananā rhythm. Remember, the songs have the rhythm. In this padigam, the rhythm is tānādana or tananā. There will be that syllables that will have that tānā, tananā, that pattern should come. So veḷiṟūpuli, tananā, adaḻ-āḍaiyan, tananā, umaiyañjudal, tananā, poruṭṭāl, tānā. That kind of a rhythm he has got in the song. So the first phrase is oḷiṟūpuli adaḻ-āḍaiyan. Puli is tiger, adaḻ is skin. So puli adaḻ is tiger skin, and Shiva is wearing the tiger skin as his dress. Ādai is dress. Āḍaiyan is one who has got it as a dress. So puli adaḻ-āḍaiyan means he who wears a tiger skin as his dress. That is the meaning of that phrase. Now the oḷiṟū is an adjective. It's an adjective, and that adjective is describing the tiger skin. oḷiṟū means bright. So he is wearing a tiger skin that is very bright, right? Tiger skin is yellow tiger skin, and that is very bright. And that's what he's saying. oḷiṟūpuli adaḻ, the bright tiger skin as his dress, ādaiyan. So oḷiṟūpuli adaḻ-āḍaiyan means Shiva who is wearing a bright tiger skin as his clothing around his waist. That is one phrase. And we know that tiger skin, that is a very common phrase, because these are the Puranic stories are there. Everything has a philosophical interpretation. What is the tiger skin? Why did he get the tiger skin? And what does it signify, etc. Similarly, whether when he is holding Trishulam, what does Trishulam stand for? Or if he is holding a battle axe, what does it stand for? Or if he is holding a deer, why is he holding a deer, etc. There are Puranic stories and philosophical interpretations. So he is wearing a bright tiger skin. And then the next phrase is umaiyañjudal poruṭṭāl, piḷiṟūkural mada-vāraṇa vadanampiḍit turittu veḻiṟūpaḍa viளையாடிய விகிர்தன். That is one big phrase. First half, second half of first line, second line, first half of third line. All that together means one phrase. That means Shiva who fought with an elephant and peeled off its skin. That is the gist of that. But we look at the words. Umaiyañjudal poruṭṭāl. Umai is Uma. Uma Devi, Parvati. Anjudal is to be afraid. Acham is fear. Anjudal is to be afraid. Poruṭṭāl means causing or due to. So Shiva fought with that elephant and peeled its skin. We know that story. This is one of the 8 acts of valor that we associate with Shiva. In Tamil we call it Atta Veerattam. The Atta Veerattattalam or Atta Veerattanam means 8 Veerasthanam. So these are the things that we have talked about every now and then. The burning of the 3 forts, burning of Kama, kicking Yama, killing Jalandharasura, or killing Andhakasura, so on and so forth, right? So those are the 8 acts, and one of them is this fight with the elephant and peeling of its skin. And I may have mentioned this. This is associated with the sthalam called Vazhuvur, which is about 10 kilometers from Mayiladuthurai. It's a very big temple. It's in a village. Very nice temple. Very big pond in the temple. There's a temple tank, which is a very big tank. And that sthalam is where we have the Gajasamhara Murti. And there was elephant was a very huge elephant that came to attack Shiva, and then there's a big fierce battle. And then at one point in time, Shiva reduces his size and goes into the mouth of the elephant. So Shiva vanishes from sight. So Uma is afraid, right? So Uma Devi, even though she is one half of Shiva and she is equal to Shiva in many things, in Thevaram, when they describe Uma, they will often describe Uma with feminine attributes: softness, beauty, gentleness, all those kind of things. So when Shiva is fighting with the bad elephant, as a wife, Uma is afraid, oh, this is a fierce battle going on. And then when Shiva disappears from sight, obviously, she's really worried. So, umaiyañjudal poruṭṭāl, that is where Uma is afraid of, or Uma is fearful or frightened. Causing Uma to be frightened, what did he do? piḷiṟūkural mada-vāraṇa vadanampiḍit turittu. So, Varanam is a Sanskritam word. There are many Sanskritam words here. Varanam is a Sanskritam word which means elephant. Mada-vāraṇam. Madam is when the elephant, in Hindi they may call it mast. Matam is the Sanskritam word which means the rut of the elephant. When the elephant is in the rut, there will be fluid secreting from its glands. You can see that around from the temple, etc. So that is called the matam. And so mada-vāraṇam means big male elephant, right? Because female elephants don't have matam. Only the male elephant will have the matam. So mada-vāraṇam is the big male elephant. And how did it come? piḷiṟūkural. Piḻiṛudal means to trumpet. The elephants, every animal that makes a sound, right? We have different words for different animal sounds. When a dog we say barking, right? Or cow we say mooing. Like that, or braying. All those, there are various words that are used for common animals. So for the elephant, the sound that the elephant makes, that's called piḻiṛudal. So piḻiṟūkural means kural is sound. So the elephant that made piḷiṛū sound, that means it was trumpeting. In English, I think they call it trumpeting. So the elephant was making a sound, piḻiṛudal. Kural is sound, voice. That kind of a male elephant. Vadanam is face. Piḍit is to catch hold of. Urittu is to skin, to peel. So piḷiṟūkural mada-vāraṇa vadanampiḍit turittu. So he caught hold of the face of this big male elephant that was making a lot of noises, and he peeled off its skin. And the story was that he will go inside vanish inside the mouth of the elephant. He goes into the stomach, and then he will make himself big, and then tear open the elephant and come out, and then peel its skin and wrap it around himself. So this will be a very, very, very fierce-looking form. At least at the time of the fight, and when he peels off and wraps it around himself. So Uma Devi is very, very frightened, very much frightened at that point. And then when Uma was frightened and she was, in fear, looking at her state, after a few moments, Shiva bursts out laughing, saying that don't worry. So veḻiṟūpaḍa viளையாடிய விகிர்தன். விளையாடுதல் is to play. In Tamil, விளையாட்டு is play. விளையாடிய means he who played. And Sanskritam they will call it Leela. In English they may call it play or sport or whatever. So veḻiṟūpaḍa. veḻiṟūpaḍa is here easily or casually he played. He didn't. It was not a big deal for him. He casually played with the elephant. That kind of a Shiva, and he is called Vigirdan. This is a word that comes in Thevaram to refer to Shiva in several songs. Again, this comes from Sanskritam root, Vikrita. Vikrita in Sanskritam comes in Tamil as Vigirdan, and that means, in the notes they explain it as somebody who is of a different nature. We cannot explain it, right? When somebody does something, we know, we can understand why such a person did such a thing, because we can think like the others, or because we are human, others are human. So when one human does something, we as another human, we can intuitively feel that why he did such and such an act. But Shiva, we cannot comprehend fully. He is beyond our intellect. So when Shiva does something, for us to analyze and interpret this is why he did that, it's not always possible. So there are things that he does we cannot understand. So that's why we call him Vigirdan. That's one interpretation of that word Vigirdan. And Iravananai aḷiṟūpada adarthan. This is the third phrase. Iravanan is Ravana. Aḷiṟū means mud. Aḷiṟūpada means causing him to become mud. Adarthan. Adartal is to crush, to press down. So when Ravana lifted Kailasa mountain, Shiva gently put one of his big toes and pressed slightly on the mountain, and then immediately Kailasa mountain came down heavily on Ravana's arms and crushed Ravana. So all the arms and muscles and bones and everything that Ravana had in his arms, they were all crushed into a paste. So they became like a mud. Because his blood was there, his muscles and bones and everything was there, so they all got crushed and squashed and mixed up into some kind of a slushy, mushy paste. So that's why he called it mud. So Ravananai aḷiṟūpada adarthan. He crushed Ravana's body to become like mud. Adarthan, that's Shiva. Idam, his place. uNNāmulai aduve. His place is Tiruvannamalai. And implied advice, Upadesam is, we should worship him there. And if we worship him there, we will be free of our karma. So that is what the 8th song's direct meaning. So, Pavani, you can read the whole verse again.
Yes. oḷiṟū-puli adaḻ-āḍaiyan umaiyañjudal poruṭṭāl. piḷiṟūkural mada-vāraṇa vadanampiḍit urittu. veḻiṟūpaḍa விளையாடிய விகிர்தன் இராவணனை அழறூபட அடர்த்தான் இடம் அண்ணாமலை அதுவே.
Very good. Any questions, comments on this song? You can talk now if you have. If not, we will go to the 9th song. Atmarama, you can read with me.
Okay.
விளவார்கனி படநூறிய கடல் வண்ணனும் வேத கிளர்தாமரை மலர்மேல் உரை கேடில் புகழோனும் அளவாவணம் அழலாகிய அண்ணாமலை அண்ணாள் தளராமுலை முறுவல் உமை தலைவன் அடி சரணே. Good. So this is Sambandar's padigam 9th song, and as you know, in 9th song, Sambandar will always refer to Brahma and Vishnu trying to seek the top and bottom of that endless column of fire that was Shiva, and they will fail in their endeavor and they will worship that column of fire, and then Shiva will reveal himself. That story is referred in the 9th verse. And also, as we know, Tiruvannamalai is closely associated with this event, because when the endless column of fire that was Shiva, that endless column of fire, the legend is that is what in this age appears as Tiruvannamalai. As you know, in the Indian tradition, they classify the time into different 4 parts, right? Yugam they call it. So they say, Dvapara Yugam, Treta Yugam, Dvapara Yugam, Kali Yugam and all that, right? So in this Yugam, they say that fire appears as this mountain. So the Tiruvannamalai is Shiva. And in fact, that is what when we looked at Sekhar's song, Periyapuranam song, in which he described how Sambandar sang this padigam. He said that, if you remember, is from Arayani Nallur, from that rock, as he was going around the temple in Arayani Nallur, he could see Tiruvannamalai at a distance, about 30 kilometers from there. And when Sambandar looked at Tiruvannamalai from there, Tiruvannamalai appeared in the form of Shiva to him. And then we sang this padigam. So Tiruvannamalai is Shiva. That's why in Tiruvannamalai, the temple is on the foothills. But you will find that people will go around the hill. Giri Pradakshanam, or in Tamil commonly known as Girivalam, is a very popular one. And many people who go to Tiruvannamalai will go for Girivalam. And to go around Tiruvannamalai, it's about 14 kilometers. So that hill is Shiva. Hill is holy. So that is the background. Now we look at the words. So, Vilavarkani Padanuriya Kadal Vannanum. That phrase means Vishnu. Veda Kilartamarai Malarmelure Kedil Pugaronum. That phrase means Brahma. So, Vishnu and Brahma, Adavavanam Adalagiya uNNāmulai Annal. So, the third line says they could not see the top and bottom of that fire, which is Tiruvannamalai, Lord. And he is husband of Umadevi. Thalaramulai Muruval Umai Talaivan. He is the husband of Umadevi. Adi Sarane. We take refuge in his holy feet. So basically it says uNNāmulai Swami, who is the fire that was not fathomable by Brahma and Vishnu, and who is the husband of Uma, his holy feet we take refuge in. That is the gist of the song. Now we will look at the phrase. Kadal Vannanum. Kadal is sea. That's a very common word in Tamil. Probably it's a common word in all South Indian languages. Kadal is sea. Vannan. Vannam is color. Kadal Vannam means color of the sea, and Kadal Vannan means one who has the color of the sea. This is referring to Vishnu, who has the dark complexion. So in the scriptures, each of the deities are described with different attributes, right? What is their color, what is their vahanam, what are they wearing, what are they holding, etc., etc. So every deity has a set of attributes. So Vishnu is always described as a dark complexioned Lord. Is dark complexioned, and dark color they will describe with the adjectives, right? When they in poetry they will describe with the different names. Like you will say Vishnu is dark like a dark cloud. Vishnu is dark like a dark sea. Like that. So here he is using the word sea. Kadal Vannan is Vishnu is like having the color of sea. Dark Vishnu. And then instead of simply saying Vishnu, they also give a descriptive phrase. They will describe something about his eyes, maybe about what he's wearing, or maybe they will describe one of his acts that he has done, so that it becomes poetic. Instead of simply stating like one sentence statement, they will add descriptors and adjectives and qualifiers to make it poetic. So Vilavarkani Padanuriya Kadal Vannanum. So this Vilavarkani Padanuriya, that phrase refers to a story in Krishnavataram. as you know, in because the Vishnu has avatarams, we have Narasimha avataram, we have Rama avataram, we have Krishna avataram. So there will be sometimes in Thevaram songs they will refer to some episode or some event that happened in Rama avataram or an event that happened in Krishna avataram, and say that that Vishnu who did that could not see Shiva's holy feet. So that's what he's saying here. Vilavarkani Padanuriya. So this is referring to the event in Krishna avataram. And as you know, there are many stories in Srimad Bhagavatam which refer to the events of Vishnu's avatarams and Krishna avataram in detail. And when Krishna was a young boy, Kamsa will do all kinds of things to get him killed. So in one of those things, there are two asuras who are there who have come to kill Krishna. So they come in disguise. So one of them took the disguise of a vilamaram. Villa is a Tamil word, vilamaram. That is in English they call it as wood apple. So if you have seen this tree, the fruits are having a hard shell. It will be like a tennis ball or a cricket ball, whatever you want to call it. But it will be hard shell. And if you crack it open, there is a fruit inside that people eat and they make dishes with that. So that in Tamil we call that vilambaram. Common Tamil we call it vilambaram. And that is what he's saying. Vila or kani. Kani is fruit. Vila is the name of the tree. Ar means having. Vilavarkani is the kani of vilamaram. That pada nuriya. Pada is to destroy. Nuriya is to destroy. So causing it to fall. So the story is this, that one of the asuras was standing there as a wood apple tree, vilamaram, and another asura takes the disguise of a young calf. The Krishna, because he was a part of the cowherd group, so he will take the cows for grazing and So in that herd that Krishna was tending to, taking care of, another asura came as a young calf. And the idea was that when Krishna comes by the tree was going to fall on him and kill him, something like that. And then the calf was also trying to push him or kick, do all that. So when they are coming by the tree, Krishna obviously knows all this. So he grabs the calf by its hind legs and takes one swing and throws it at the vilamaram. He throws the calf at the wood apple tree. So the calf hits the wood apple tree, and the wood apple tree is broken and destroyed, and the calf also dies in the process. So both asuras are killed in that act. So that is what Sambandar is referring to in this line. Vilavarkani pada nuriya. Nuru is to destroy. So causing the fruits to fall, he destroyed the vilamaram, he destroyed the asura, that Vishnu. So the Vishnu came as Krishna who destroyed that asura who stood there as a vilamaram. That Vishnu, and Veda kilar tamare malarmelure kedil pugaronum. This whole phrase is Brahma. Veda is Vedam. So Brahma is, you will always be reciting Vedas, that we know. And kilar tamare malarmelure. So tamare is lotus flower. So Brahma is seated on a lotus flower. That is how he is depicted. And Tamare malar is lotus flower. Kilar tamare. Kilar is rising or very bright. So the lotus flower is very beautiful and bright. So the bright, beautiful lotus flower, male urai, he dwells on top of that flower. That is Brahma. And also he has got Kedu il pugal. Kedu means that which is destroyed or that which goes away. Il means without. Pugal is fame. So Kedil Pugal means one who is having long-standing fame, one who has got enduring fame. So Brahma has a long-standing fame because he is one of the three deities, in charge of creation. So he has got long-term, eternal fame, the long-standing fame. That's what Kedil Pugal is referring to here. So Veda Kilar Tamare Malar Melurai Kedil Pugaron. So one who recites Vedas, one who is dwelling on lotus flower, and one who has got eternal fame. So all these three attributes of Brahma is mentioning. That Brahma, so Vishnu and that Brahma, these two people. So they Alavavanam adaḻ-āḍaiyan uṇṇāmulai. So Shiva, who became an endless column of fire. Adaḻ. Adaḻ means fire. Alavavannam. Alatal is to measure. Alavavannam is unable to be measured. Because we know the story. The Vishnu trying to seek the bottom of the flame. So he takes the form of a boar, keeps digging. He can never find the end of the bottom of the flame. Brahma takes the form of a swan. He keeps flying up, and he can never see the top of the flame. So Vishnu and Brahma, they try for a very, 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 very long time. Finally, they get tired, exhausted. They come back to the starting point, and then they both realize that this is somebody who we don't know, who is greater than us. So they worship Shiva. So that is what is referring to. So Vishnu and Brahma, Alavavannam adaḻ-āḍaiyan. The Jyoti that was not measurable by Brahma and Vishnu. That uṇṇāmulai, that Swami, the Lord of uṇṇāmulai, uṇṇāmulai Annal, the Lord who is the uṇṇāmulai, and he is consort of Uma. Thalara-mulai muruval umai talaivan. Talaivan is Lord or Master or husband in this case. Umai talaivan. Umai is Uma. Umai talaivan is husband of Uma. And how is that Uma? The Thalara-mulai muruval umai. That is descriptive phrase for Uma. Muruval umai. Muruval is smiling. Muruval is smile. So Uma is described as a smiling Uma. If you remember the previous song, he said that she was afraid, right? Umaiyañjudal. She was terrified Uma in the previous song, but in this song, Uma is described as smiling Uma. And she's got Thalara-mulai. Mulai is breast of a woman. Thalardal means to droop. Thalara means not drooping. That means young and firm, and that's what the opening song said, right? uṇṇāmulai umayalodum udannagiya oruvan. Song number 1. So uṇṇāmulai means we talked about that the breasts that have not been suckled, right? The breasts that have not fed any child. So forever young. So that is what the same meaning here. Thalara-mulai means young, firm breasts. That's what it means. Thalara-mulai. Muruval umai and smiling Uma. So this is describing Uma as eternally young and who has got a nice smile. And that Uma's husband, Talaivan, that is Shiva. Adi Sharane. Adi is Padam, holy feet. Sharane. Sharan is I take refuge in. That is our refuge. So, Sambandar's message here is that Brahma and Vishnu cannot see the top and bottom of the fire. That was Swami Shiva of Tiruvannamalai, and he is the husband of young, beautiful Uma, and his holy feet is our refuge. So we should worship him, and he will protect us and get rid of our karma. Asna, I can read the whole verse again.
Okay. வெளவார்கனி படநூறிய கடல் வண்ணனும் வேத கிளர் தாமரை மலர்மேல் ஒரே கேடில் புகழோனும் Kedal, I'm sorry?
Yeah, Ked il Pugaronum. You missed il.
Oh, sorry. Kedal Pugaronum, Alavavanam, Aral, Agia, uṇṇāmulai, Annal, Taladāmalai, Muruval, Umai, Talaivan, Adi, Sarane.
Very good. So, what I say is that, we can conclude today's session here. And in the next session, we can look at the remaining two songs. Tiruchitrambalam.